As the war in Syria continues, I would like to share my friend's story, and this is her story. If someone had told me when I was 21 that this Christian American woman would at 26 be sitting in a mosque with my shoes off, my hair covered, converted to Islam, and getting married to a Syrian man, I never would have believed them. I'm glad no one told me, because the adventure's been amazing. My husband and I met overseas. We got married on New Year's Eve in Turkey, and even though most of his family couldn't come because of the war, it was still amazing. And my family couldn't come because of no passports. Yet here we are 9 months later, into an even more and deadly war. The last 2 months of my life in Turkey have been living in a one-bedroom apartment with my husband and his family. As a new bride, this was quite interesting. But at the same time, I was thanking my lucky stars I didn't marry into the family down the road, who had 7 adults and 1 child in a one-bedroom. I was also so grateful for a roof over my head and not a tent, or even worse for some Syrians, nothing at all. 2 years ago, when the war started, I could see my husband begin to get stressed. And after that, a year and a half ago, my husband went to Syria. He told me, "It's okay, it's just bad in remote areas." Fast forward to September 2013. There had been one of the worst attacks in Syria ever, in Damascus, a chemical weapon that killed more than just a few people, 1,300. As I had come back to the U.S. to be with my family because I was homesick for the U.S. after not seeing it for 2 years, I couldn't tear my eyes off the television. For me, it will always be in my mind as the moment my everything stopped. When 9/11 happened, the world stopped. Now I have my own personal 9/11. Who should I call? Is my family okay? Is my husband's family okay? What should I do? All I could do was cry and cry, hoping it wasn't my best friend's dad who died, my husband's grandparents, or my sister-in-law. What if we lost one of the kids, I thought. I can do nothing. I've never felt so hopeless and lost. I personally believe very deeply in God, and all I could do at that point was pray, saying, "God, I have nothing. I don't know what to do, and I give you all of this and pray for peace." A small part of me keeps wondering, though, how many people know the personal stories? We hear on the news about governments and fighting, but a huge part of war and fighting is casualties. My husband and I are so grateful to still have a lot of his family, even though we have lost some. Some people have lost all their family and everything. This is not a joke. Or okay. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture your house, your family, your job, everything you have built and held dear and treasure. Keep your eyes closed. Now imagine it's all gone. This is how many of the Syrian people are at the moment. Who are the bad guys here? How many people have asked me that? Honestly, I don't know. There was problems, and one day someone said I have enough. As an American, I treasure the freedoms that we have and have had. Everyone should have that kind of freedom in the world. A freedom to live, pray, eat, and love how they want, as long as they're not hurting others. I keep asking myself, how many people have to die before we can have peace again? And why do people have to die to bring peace? Isn't that kind of an oxymoron? Bring peace through violence? Living in Turkey for most of this year, I have seen a lot of unrest, but mostly peaceful protesting. To watch as a country say and ask for religious and personal freedoms, something I as an American could never begin to understand. And then there's me, sitting watching as people turn on and off their lights and bang pans in a peaceful way to say, "Please let us live our lives." My story with Syria runs a little deeper than most Americans. I have walked in those dusty streets. I have looked on as so many different cultures live together peacefully. I've tasted that strange Arabic coffee as the prayer call rings out in the background. I've been in those houses that are now nothing more than dust and broken rocks. The Syrian people are some of the most beautiful and peaceful people I have ever met in my life. How much can you thank someone who makes a meal for you that costs them a week's wages, just so they can give you the best of what they have because you're their guest? Living with Syrians the last 9 months has taught me things you can't learn in school. Love your family no matter what, because they're your family. Give everything you have to help other people, because someone will always have left. Stay awake all hours chatting and drinking tea and coffee, because you're with loved ones. and those moments are worth more than sleep. This is the face of the Syria I know. These are the real Syrian people. They are so kind, so willing to give anything to let someone have a good time, to share everything they have just to share it. Who will stand up for them as they look around just to lose more? I stand up for them. I stand with them for a better future in life, but in a peaceful way. You can't fight fire with fire. These people have lost everything, and yet they still ask me to come into their homes, or what's left of them, to share with them what little they have. If it was me, I would have lost hope. I would have given up. The Syrian people are so strong and so faithful to their culture and to God. I was flying over the U.S. last week when Obama gave a speech about the 6 ships sitting in Syria. As I looked around, was I the only one crying on the plane? Was I the only one thinking about all the lives that were to be lost if we go, quote unquote, save Syria? How is killing so many innocent lives saving anyone? Is there no way to bring peace peacefully? Sure, this is my tiny story coming from a tiny person. I can never imagine the words of my voice getting to Obama or those of the Oval Office. But if I did, I would put them in the position of the grandmother in Syria who stands in the doorway as men run through it with guns. The same doorway that her and her husband started their lives together. Her children ran through, and now her grandchildren run through, only to be told to leave and never come back. Do the men of power have no conviction? Do they have no shame? Is there no limit to human compassion? Mr. President, instead of turning people against people, couldn't you unify them? The U.S. has a great shot at helping. Mr. President, couldn't you play the Syrian national anthem and ask the Syrian powers and people to come together as one and reunite peacefully? How great a nation would we be if we brought another nation together on peace and unity and communication? Those are the keys to a great relationship. Mr. President, please bring peace peacefully. That's my story. Those are my thoughts. If it changes someone's mind in a peaceful way, I am truly happy. And if it gets to the White House and the president finds a peaceful way, then I've accomplished what I'd wanted.